Barnabas Tinkasimire, Buyaga West Member of Parliament, is in the studios, and our special guest this morning is Aaron Mogeiga, and he is the General Secretary, Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, and several issues to look at this morning. One of them is the fact that indeed we are concluding the first week after schools opened gates for learners to undertake the second term. But the science teachers are on strike, protesting unfulfilled government pledges to enhance their salaries. And you can imagine the economic hardships the country is going through, sending kids to school, and they've spent the first week without studying or attending a science class. They have their reasons, and that is why we have Aaron Mogeiga in the studios. But again, the political favor is again on, and we are talking about the preparations to fill the vacancy that was brought about by the death of the former Speaker Jacob Bolanya. In Omoro County, yesterday the Electoral Commission concluded nominations for candidates to vie for that particular seat, and 6 were nominated to contest for that seat. That's why I said the political heat is on, and the election favor is back. You can imagine what comes with by-elections, looking back at Kayunga by-election and others. But that is another issue. We'll give time. Let me introduce my guest, Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire. Speak to our viewers. It's always a pleasure having you on this show this morning.
Thank you very much, our host, Apollo, and to our viewers, particularly the royal ones. Good morning to all of you, and to thank you so much for always tuning in this program, The Dialogue, that we normally share ideas with you on Saturday.
Thank you.
Today we have very, very interesting topics, and I'm glad and excited to meet one of the affected persons, a professional science teacher. We want to hear what he has to say.
How was the week, briefly?
Of course, it was quite tight, but we see so many things again. Something that really caught my eye was the unfortunate bit of again starting to arrest the Besigye. And the way they arrested the Besigye, I think it was not called for. In this country, there are a category of people that we actually need to respect.
Really?
There is also an event that happened. The religious leaders from Kasese went to see the Omusinga of Ruwenzururu at his place where he's under house arrest, and they were denied access to the Omusinga, and they had to conduct prayers in the middle of the road in a hasty way. The police were not even allowing the men of God to conduct a prayer. They even forget that they need that prayer much more than even the Musinga. They were stopping from receiving that prayer. Of course, we will call upon civility amongst particularly security forces, both the army and the police. There is also an event that happened where traffic men, actually army men,
officer,
were involved in a scuffle with traffic officers, and that was a very, very unfortunate scene. This is almost, I think it is going on occurring. There is somebody who is actually even now hospitalized. He was maimed by...
he was shot and
yes.
eventually the leg was cut off.
Yes. So if we continue with that brutality of the army, the arrogance in the army is barely unacceptable. The other thing that I came across was a tweet from the first son, who is the commander of armed forces, who was ridiculing the people who have been standing. He called them perennial presidential candidates, that they should stop riding on his popularity among the youth. I dismissed that with the contempt it deserves, because I think he was referring to Kizza Besigye, because he's the one who has stood more than twice against his father. Because we know that in 2001, actually Dr. Kizza Besigye won President Museveni, and it is on record. The Supreme Court said, yes, there was rigging, but the substantiality clause, substantiality matter was introduced in the elections, and when we who studied the political science, substantiality is normally a code used when you are in a fix, particularly in courts, in offices, and you want to make a political decision, you will hide under such a high-handed phrases. But all said and done is that I think let's calm down and concentrate on the issues that are affecting Ugandans. We are continuing to see the surge of the increase of essential commodities, including fuel
prices.
For the first time in my life, I have seen diesel price go above petrol price. And those who are, I think, connected to the flow of business in fuel, they are telling us next week we are likely to have a crisis where we will not have even a drop. So they are advising us to buy jerrycans to keep fuel. It's risky.
It's another risky.
It's a very, very risky venture. That anything can happen and you burn yourself. It's really, the Lord has to, people who are praying, the religious leaders like my very good friend Pastor Bujingo and his other colleagues, to carry on and pray for this country, because we are not in, as of now, a good shape.
Thank you so much, Honorable Barnabas. Those are very unfortunate events, but like you said, we have to carry on. Aaron Mugeiga, speak to our viewers, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Pana Apollo, our dear viewers, those watching us and those listening to us. We thank you very much for tuning in to this TV, and we want to thank God for we are alive this morning.
Yeah, you can briefly introduce yourself again for the benefit of the viewers.
Yes. My name is Mugeiga Aaron, and I'm the General Secretary of Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, a union that pursues the interests of all scientists in education sector in Uganda. Those are secondary school science teachers, generally the scientists in post-primary institutions, the secondary school science teachers, then the BTVET and the NIC instructors. Then we have science tutors in PTCs, NTC science lecturers, then laboratory technicians. You know, all
seems like it's a huge lot. Talk about the membership. How many are you in that union?
We are currently, those in government, there are 14,000. and we are representing all of them.
Really?
Yes, we are representing all of them, and all of them, we are at 90% those who have registered with us across the country. That's why when this call came up, you saw the whole nation actually covered every sub-region. We had the
what influenced your decision to lay down the tools at a critical moment?
Marginalization and discrimination in the pay enhancement of scientists.
What do you call marginalization?
That has been persistent. You know, when government comes up with a policy to enhance salaries, but starting with scientists, we expect all scientists to be covered. But here is a situation where, and you know, scientists actually are in all departments and agencies of government. All ministries, you will find there scientists and non-scientists. But now, when government enhances salaries, the funds normally meant for salary enhancement of scientists in education sector are normally diverted, and the science teachers don't get it. You saw in 2018, government came up with the same policy, and it earmarked funds to enhance salaries for all scientists. And the portion for scientists in education sector was 98 billion. That 98 billion for the science in education sector was diverted and taken into other things.
That is 2018?
Yes, that's 2018. 98 billion was diverted into, we were told it was used in, to recruit new staff. And we wonder how salary enhancement and the recruitment of staff become to be the same thing. So it was unfair to the scientists in the education sector. Actually, government went ahead to pay science teachers for 2 to 3 months across the country, and later withdrew that benefit. And it didn't only stop at withdrawing, but rather went ahead to force science teachers to pay back what they had given them. And when we followed the issue, they told us we are not scientists. And we wondered how we, the science teachers, are not scientists, yet we produce these doctors, these engineers, agricultural officers, and all the sorts of scientists that you can think of. How can a goat produce a rabbit?
Okay.
You see, that is very, you say, we the scientists, we are able to produce those scientists. We, the science teachers, are able to produce all those scientists, but we are not scientists. Look at a biology profession, a biology teacher. This one studies Bachelor of Science in Biological Science at university. Then adds another component, the professional component of education, to enable him get the skills of teaching. But primarily is a scientist, because these are the same courses others actually take. So when we got this, it was really very bad. We actually, it almost put the nation on a stampede, but we did not come out because, one, we are not organized. Number two, the platform we had was not ready to listen to us. So we had to start engaging government from that year. But it actually affected science teachers because some took more 3 months without pay. And it is on record. And nobody bothered to care. So, because the government was now recovering what it had paid earlier, so science teachers took more 3 months without salaries. Somebody wakes up, goes to school, teaches from the first day of the month to the 30th day of the month, no pay, and he has to go to the next month, up to the 3rd month until they recovered all the money. But we know very well this was fund provided for salary enhancement for the scientists in the education sector, and was diverted by, I think the final diversion was done in Parliament after some groups of people had petitioned Parliament. So we saw the same thing happening this year. Because on 24th August last year, cabinet approved a policy to enhance salaries of all civil servants. but starting with scientists. Civil servants are in two categories. We have scientists, workers who are scientists, and workers who are not scientists. But they said in this coming financial year, 2022, they will start with all scientists. Now, government had earmarked 400 billions to enhance salaries for all scientists. Now, a distribution was made. At first, that's what government had secured. A distribution was made by Minister of Public Service, and we have a document to that effect, and I have it here with me. If you want it at a later time, I will display it for you to see. Now, this on the 400 billion, because the money was not enough, remember the presidential directive was saying that scientists who are not medical, each graduate, the entry figure has to be 4 million, and then a diploma, 3 million. Now, when they provided 400 billion, they distributed it, and for us in education sector, they gave us 139 billion. Then, actually, I think I should display this for you to see.
Okay, you can maybe at a later stage.
Okay,
you can
fine.
proceed.
Yes, we have it here. Now, when they had given us 139 billion, and other sectors had been given theirs. On the 139 billion, 111.6 billion was meant to go to secondary science teachers. 111
billion.
Yeah, 0.6.
That is what has been published in the papers.
Yes. Then 27.7.
Did it appear in the budget framework paper?
Yes, it was in the budget framework paper, the 400 billion. Now, 27.7 was meant for scientists in tertiary institutions, but we are all together. So the total was 139 billion.
Oh, yeah.
Now, early April, we learned that this money meant for salary enhancement for all science teachers and science in the education sector was diverted and taken to other sectors. This was very bad, I will tell you the truth. Actually, when we learned about this, we saw exactly a repeat of what happened in 2018. And it is us who know how it affected us and the negative impact it had on the education sector. You know, sometimes people don't understand the logic behind teaching. They think going to school, like I've been hearing some people forcing teachers that to go to school or going to class means teaching. No. You see, teaching is psychological. It's more of the heart. If you affect this teacher, you have already given him the money for 3 months, and you have taken it away, and you have forced the teacher to pay what he has already utilized, and he has taken 3 months without pay. Do you expect this teacher to deliver as expected? Certainly, there was a very big negative effect, but that was covered. We would expect Minister of Education to come out strongly and actually support us and help us to make sure this is recovered. Came out.
Did you demand for a reason as to why the funds were diverted, and what was the response?
We did, and we have been engaging government, by the way, from 2019 to date. They told us that science teachers are not scientists. That was the reason.
That is what they have maintained since 2018.
That's what they have been telling us. And we had to go to Equal Opportunities Commission and even National Council for Higher Education to exactly help us define who is a scientist. And Equal Opportunity Commission on 30th of March 2021 ruled and said science teachers are scientists and therefore should be paid like other scientists. And the government had done this earlier in 2012, by the way, in a Circular Standing Instruction number 2 of 2012. Government categorized science teachers in post-primary institutions as scientists. That decision was reaffirmed in 2014 when a science salary scale was created for all scientists in the education
So
sector.
Aaron, it's not about the funds not being available to pay science teachers. It is about that contestation that science teachers are not scientists in that sense.
That was the issue then. but now it has been overtaken because clarity has come out. Because even when the cabinet came on 24th of August last year, it was very clear. If you can recall Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, after presenting the policy that had been approved by cabinet, he was particular on the scientists in education sector. He said the list of, for purposes of clarity, the list of scientists include, then he mentioned them, and he also mentioned science teachers in secondary schools. So it was very clear.
Now, the latest is that Dr. Chris Baryomunsi this week addressed a press briefing and affirmed that the funds and the salary enhancements for science teachers will be due July 1st, the first financial year.
That's what we wanted.
The start of the next financial year. Wanted. I'm saying, are you again not comfortable with...
now, let me tell you this.
With that decision.
And the Honorable Bandozi watching us. On 6 this month, that was Friday, we held a meeting between Minister of Finance, Minister of Public Service, and Minister of Education. The Ministers of Education and the Public Service were in attendance. Then the Minister of Finance sent the technical people. Now, we were trying to discuss this diversion of the 139 billion. Where is the money? They agreed with the documents we presented, that yes, these are our documents, and we had distributed this money like that. But because money is not enough, this document is no longer valid because the money was taken to other sectors. We asked them.
So you fear that even when this financial year starts, these funds won't be there? Why,
no.
Why can't you?
Now we know funds will be there. Because when we rose up to project our voices across the country on Monday, Cabinet was sitting on that Monday. And we understand they put it upon themselves to make sure, and even the president redirected afresh and directed Minister of Finance to look for this money and give it to us so that we are also part of the beneficiaries. Because the presidential directive was very clear, starting this coming financial year, all scientists will receive salary enhancement. So he directed, and the cabinet directed, that they get the money, and that's why Chris Baryomunsi, doctor, came and explained to the public. But now our issue is, when they gave this information, we had written to them, and we expected the writing back to us, communicating that this is the decision the government has taken. But up to now, we have not received that document.
So you cannot take Dr. Chris Baryomunsi's word by itself. You want that document from government that affirms that your money is...
His word is not enough. Because government had earlier come out through him and presented this policy and even listed all of us. But there are people down who keep frustrating us. When actually I think the top people are not aware. Because we are told when this was presented, it was an issue in the cabinet. There are people down there, and we have informed those people because we know them. Some have even told us plainly, how can a science teacher
Who are they?
earn 4 million?
Who are they?
To avoid victimization, I wouldn't wish actually to mention their names. But I am sure they are watching and listening. Let them be warned, because next time we will not cover them. But they are there. They told us, how can a science teacher earn 4 million? What are you doing? Teaching, you are supposed to be down there.
So you now maintain your industrial action?
Our industrial action is still on and has now finished the whole week. But the issue is, I am sure we are concluding it because we have been in consultations and negotiation with the responsible government officers who are supposed actually to draft that communication to us, and hopefully we will be able to get it on Monday. We expected we would get it by yesterday, but I think for one reason or another, we are unable. So we hope by Monday we'll be able to get that document, and once we get it, the National Executive Council will see it and see how to halt this industrial action. But without that, I don't think, we don't have a basis to call off the industrial action. And we have been clear to them. What are we going to tell our members? You go and say, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi said that cabinet directed that you will get your money. Is that enough to tell members? Will they believe? They will not. Even right now, if I took you to our platforms, because we have over 100 WhatsApp platforms across the country, that brings all our members. So we are able to communicate. If you see the message, in fact, we had even scheduled by the meeting this today. But when they had that, and they know we don't have a document yet, if you see the comments some teachers are putting,
they are very bitter.
Very bitter. They are angry. They were angered since 2018. Nobody cared to handle their issue. Now it is repeating, and you expect teaching of science.
Well, viewers, let's hope for the best, and hopefully Monday this will be sorted. Let's hope. Honorable, let me hear your opinion. President Museveni and his government have been positive on the issue of scientists being paid fairly well. And you remember through COVID, the statements from His Excellency the President were, these are our heroes. But here comes now what we see today. What do you think this could mean?
Well, I want to go on record to state that I support the science teachers.
Thank you.
And of course, there is, as much as we are talking about secondary school, post-secondary school, lab technicians, and we still also have another category of scientists, primary school teachers. They teach us science and mathematics. But of course, they are supposed to even teach English, SST. So somehow they are excluded. But I pray that this government will find it within their favor to include this category of people. Because science is starting at that stage. And they are doing a very tremendous work. I have a young boy who is in P6. The work that has been done by those teachers, I am seeing a real scientist growing up in my home. I think last week, that boy, before he went to school, he was able to fix a problem a graduate had failed to fix.
Yeah, you talked about it last week, I think.
Yes.
That was amazing.
That's an amazing scientist coming on board. And is being done by the primary school teachers. Fortunately for them, they are supposed to study everything. So across the board, they should include them to be called scientists. For me, anyone who fights for his rights, I would certainly support them. You will, some people are just saying, how can they earn the 4 million? Why did you choose to do history, not chemistry? Honestly, me, I was good in sciences. At school, students would run away from class of mathematics. True. Chemistry, biology, physics, they would run away. They would run away. Then why, if there is a system of coming up to reward those who persisted, then so it be. I am surprised about the revelations of Mugiga, that we can still have a government saying this and then it does this. The issue of diversion of your money, they were trying to bring you head-on coalition with the members of parliament. There is no MP who is going to sit in that house and divert teachers' money. No. It is not there, and it is not done like that. It is them, the technical people, together with the ministers, that choose that this money should be reallocated. And when they bring a proposal, sometimes we ask them hard questions, but of course they have made up their mind to reallocate that money, and it is appropriated for other activities. It is very, very unfortunate that we have kept the science teachers on the fence for a very long period of time. It's high time government realized their contribution and made sure that they pay them. The union members go and tell them that they should ignore those ones trying to say they will not get their money, simply because they are science teachers. You paid the price to belong to that category. I went to the seminary, and after senior 6, I went to Makerere University. I did my degree for 3 years, and I went straight to work. My colleagues, whom I finished senior 6 with, had to study extra 8 years to become priests. If there would be a benefit to a priest, would I clamor that since I even studied with them?
You won't complain.
Why would I complain? They have paid an extra cost. They have paid an extra burden to belong to that category.
Honorable, let me take you back to 2018, 2019, where he said...
Before we go back, it is a government, I think, a shift, a paradigm shift in the education system, that we are encouraging as many children as possible to study sciences.
Yeah, true. True.
The reason is that we have realized that there is a niche in students, in children studying sciences. Sciences have been neglected for a very long period of time. We want to industrialize. We want to industrialize, but we don't have these scientists to drive the industrial revolution that we want. We want. So if we are focusing at that, then let these people be paid such that they have the energy to give us the right products. I would want a teacher, as he said, who actually goes to teach with his heart. I remember with nostalgia, our chemistry teacher, when I was still at St. John Bosco Seminary, that man would come and even sing the formulas to a level that you would get out of class and even memorize. You really see a person who was committed.
The periodic table.
By the time we finished the first term in senior 2, I was a star in everyone would sing those things. Those things. So really, when you see such people who have made that big contribution, then the government is playing ping pong.
Honorable, I was taking you back to that decision. Wait a minute.
We are going to proceed to that level. Government should stop this bad habit of promising one thing. Then they go in their implementation system and start playing ping pong. Sometimes, now they are very, very bright. The president makes a promise, even in the State of the Nation address. The National Planning Authority is expected to capture those and put it in their 5 years or 10 years of plan.
National plan.
A national plan. Ministry of Finance, when they are doing a budget framework papers, they are supposed to capture those plans and put figures to them. Then bring the budgets. Sometimes what they are doing, they tell these people of National Planning Authority, don't put this thing, such that we use it as a reason for not budgeting for it, to explain why their thing is not there. And then when they put it there, they jump it in the budget framework paper. They call it unfunded priority. And
to postpone it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This ping pong, because we have seen it not only in the teachers, but also us who represent constituencies. Like in my place, they promise, President Museveni, since 2009, he has been promising the tamaking of Ndaiga Road. It is 33 kilometers from Mohoro to Ndaiga. It's an escarpment. It opens the entire region, to Congo. To Congo. But up to this time, they have never even captured it in the by the National Planning Authority. When we raised this matter to the minister, is when he comes up and he says, it is not there. But who is supposed to put it there? Is it the MP who is supposed to put it there? Or it is the minister supposed? Because if the president makes a pledge, it becomes it becomes a government undertaking to fulfill. Even the minister, in serious countries, a minister who makes an undertaking on behalf of government and it is not fulfilled, subsequently is supposed to resign.
Yeah, true.
And this is the high time we started taking on these ministers and the government.
It is a fact. It is a fact that usually happens between the Minister of Finance and the National Planning Authority around there. And you wonder, if I may ask you, Honorable, what could be the motivation behind these diversions? Because it's not happening with Honorable.
No, you know, these diversions, when they do them.
Even in this budget.
Like for instance, diverting their money.
Honorable, even in this budget that is being formulated, the next financial year's budget, there have been complaints in Parliament that initially what came out in the budget framework paper, what was approved initially, I think it was in Feb.
Yes.
It's not what actually is in
exactly. Because in the budget in the budget framework paper, we approved 1 trillion for parish development model. In the budget, they are bringing halfway.
Yeah.
Halfway. And you know why they do the diversion?
The motivation, what is it?
They want to put money in programs where they can construct arcades.
Oh.
Because money going to pay a teacher, it attracts a lot of scrutiny. If you mention, you said your name is Mogeiga?
Yes, Aaron.
Mogeiga Aaron. Mogeiga Aaron of maybe Rubiri SS. Rubiri SS. He teaches physics. That money must go to him. If it is not there, if they will question you. It is easy for IGG, for those running accountability agencies to get you. But now what they do, they look at that money and they say we can put it on the construction of a school. Where it involves be or choose.
Procurement.
Yes, be or choose. They make a quotation which is inflated and they make their kill of an arcade, and my good friend goes home when he's crying, when they are smiling with their families. Because when you go to the Ministry of Education, even when it is still under the first lady as the manager, we have not stopped seeing the stealing of money in that ministry. It has continued.
Honorable, we wind up. I mean, on the first hour, we only have 1 minute. Wind up, and I wonder how government came up with that position, whereas it was sorted out later, that science teachers cannot be scientists.
No. Of course, that is ping pong.
It's amazing.
Because even if you ask a primary school child, we tell you he's a teacher for science is a scientist. We tell you mathematician is a scientist. That's ping pong. Why do you need a professor to tell you that a man teaching physics, teaching chemistry in a secondary school is a scientist? These people studied from the department. I studied from Makerere University. I had the privilege to go to Makerere University. They go to there is a department of physics, the department of chemistry, department of biology, the department of mathematics. That's where they study from, and again add, as he said, to add the School of Education for just these other professional aspects. But you must pass as of necessity. You are teaching subjects.
Yeah. Well,
yes, if you don't pass the teaching subjects, what are you going to teach? What are you carrying to class? Because the education degree which they award you is merely to give you the skills, the values, the knowledge to pass on the physics, to pass on the chemistry, that you got from the science department.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable, and thank you so much, our viewers. We'll be going for a short break, and when we return, this issue around the teachers' strike is still very, very delicate. And when we return, I'll ask Aaron to tell us briefly about the risks and consequences of teachers abstaining from classes for some time. Because now a week is gone, we don't know whether it will be sorted out within these 1 days or 1 day, and next week they will be back to class. He will be telling us what we should expect. It is the dialogue. My name is Tim Apollo, Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, Buyaga West MP, and we have a special guest, Mr. Aaron Mugeiga, in the studios. He is the General Secretary, Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome from the break. This is the dialogue. My name is Sime Apollo, and we have Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, Buyaga West Member of Parliament, and we have Mr. Aaron Mugeiga, and he is the General Secretary, Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. We are looking at the issue of science teachers protesting and protesting the issue of unfulfilled pledges to enhance their salaries. The whole week, the whole of the first week of the second term, they have refused to go back to class and attend to our kids, our kids. And we need to ask if at all this is not worked out in these 1, 2, 3, 4 days, or even it goes into next week and the other week. What are the consequences and the risks involved? Aaron, tell us what would happen if at all the status quo is maintained.
Now, if we don't get this writing, informing us officially, communicating to us officially the decision by government, as I earlier said, science teachers will not go back to class. And we have left the ball into the hands of government. Because if cabinet directed that funds be located and given to us and put in the budget, as Dr. Chris Varyomun's mentioned, then what is hard? Putting that in writing? Because we need also, as leaders, right now, as leaders, we may not have capacity to stop that strike without that document.
Oh, yeah.
That one has to be very clear, and we have informed the Minister of Public Service, even the Honorable Dr. Chris Varyomus. We have informed him. We need a formal communication to what the government has decided to do, because we wrote to them. So we cannot get feedback in the form of words. Actually, many science teachers, as I told you on our platforms, they are calling them rumors. We don't have to get the feedback.
They want an official communication from government.
official communication from government. And that's what will help us to seize the fire. But you have asked the risks and how things are likely to go. One thing I can tell you, Apple and dear viewers, it is grave, actually, that it is grave for science teachers to stay away from school. You even don't know what is likely to happen. Because I am meant to understand that in some sub-region like Bujisu, because we normally get a wrap-up every day across the country at the head office, I've got reports that in some schools, students already have started raising voices. So if this is not handled, we may not know what is likely to happen. And we are telling government, please do not hold us responsible for anything that will happen. Because we raised our voices, our money was being diverted, the country has heard, the world has heard. And you have come out and you have cleared the air. You have said, no, you are still on the course, because that's what Dr. Chris Varyomun said, that government is still on course to fulfill the presidential directive of paying graduate science teachers 4 million and diploma science teachers 3 million. And he said, for him, he said teachers should go back to class. and wait for 1st July. That starting with July, money will be on their account. Yes, we said, well, that is good because that's what we wanted. But the issue is, can you give us a writing? Can you give us a formal communication to that effect? That one is very simple. We do not see any technical thing with that.
I imagine our kids spent 2 years out of class. And then there were efforts to bring this abridged curriculum to cover up for the time spent out of class. Yes. Honorable, you know it, and Aaron. And now we are losing valuable time. Yes. The kids are losing valuable time. That's what I was asking you to give us a picture of the risk of the loss we are meant to incur if you people stay out of school longer.
The more we keep out of school, the more time is going. Even that bridged curriculum, you know, we are handling content for 2 classes, 2 years in 1
year.
So ideally, actually, a number of schools had designed a way to add more time, teachers to add more time to the students. But now, if we keep away from school, it means more time is going. So that means the syllabus may not be completed. The content may not be completed. That is one. 2, I want to tell our dear viewers, Honorable and Apollo, that the decision to lay down tools was a painful decision. Actually, we had a lot of, when the National Executive Council sat, it was really painful to come up with that decision because we considered it is true students have been away from school for 2 years. Schools have been...
I imagine, don't you feel sad staying out of class?
It was painful. Even today,
and looking teachers, at your students,
if you interview them, if you interview them, science teachers, they will tell you how painful it is for them to be away from school. Yet these students are supposed to go in for mock. You see, they're supposed to go in for mock. From mock, you know, there is no time normally between 2nd term and 3rd term. You have to prepare students to pass exams. You have to develop the skills. Now, that's why we have told government, you know, we did not want to deceive the country. We do not want to be responsible for the poor and the poor teaching of sciences. We do not want to be responsible for, we don't want what happened in 2018 to repeat itself. Because if it does, I can tell you, science teachers are not going to teach science, even when you force them with a gun to the schools. If this money is not given to the science, and the fact that we had already seen it, the documents I told you I have here, indicated the figure on the 400 billion. But now we are happy the president said all the money should be brought. Because even this one was bringing marginalization, was putting us at 2.4 million, when other scientists were going to 4 million. That's a graduate. Then diploma, it was putting them at 1.3 million. Then other scientists.
So you want a uniform structure?
Yes, we want equal distribution of their money. And now that it has come, let the presidential directive be honored. And respected.
Honorable, you have to...
For me, my take...
Wait a minute. I remember... I remember how we have talked about science, and here we are now. We are now losing it anyway. And he talked about it. Even if you force them to go to class, I don't see where we are going, Honorable. That even if now we backtrack and say we are not giving them the money, or we promise them the other financial year, not this at this time, they will be going to class, but they will not be teaching our kids. That's the irony now.
For me,
the paradox we are in.
Their industrial action is well within the provision of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and even other laws, labor laws, that give them that they can lay down their tools in the circumstances that they are dissatisfied with the conduct of affairs. First of all, let's look at how much are they demanding. Ministry of Education has a budget of around 7 towards the 7 trillion. They are demanding not even a quarter of a trillion.
139 billion.
130.
The whole amount should be 247.
Okay.
Now, even if it would be the 400,
The 139 was on the portion of 400 billion.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but now
even if it would be the entire 400 billion, the demand to fix a problem where you are putting 400 billion, how much money did we give to this Penet who stole us in Lubowa and disappeared? 279 million US dollar. Convert it in Uganda money is over and above of what the teachers are asking. She disappeared. There is no even no bridge to show that the progress will a hospital will one day come up in Lubowa. In Lubowa. What about giving these people who are helping our children this money and they go away? We should stop this thing of having a government which is not serious. Because what are they bargaining for? First of all, they should not even have gone on an industrial action. You promise to give them. How much money are they asking? They are not demanding too much. But because you feel what those people, what they have stolen is not yet enough, they want to continue stealing even this money, diverting it, putting it in other projects. Manya, we are constructing city schools. Manya, now we are going to bring water at schools. Manya, computers. What? No. We demand. And actually, next week, if this industrial action has not, we are going to ask the government to act on this matter, because we equally fear that the children can join them. Do you know that the children can join in this strike?
They can.
And that will be too bad. Because the children, some of them are very, very unreasonable. They have younger energy. You will not control them. Do you know that a child will go and even grab an army man with his gun? And there are many. The volume becomes bigger. It becomes a bigger problem for us to handle. We would not want to see our children being shot, being shot at, simply because of the negligence of government.
Honorable, I wonder how we handle our matters. You remember when doctors went on strike, then eventually a decision came out that we are going to hire Cuban doctors to come and fill the void. And you ask, will Cubans really work for nothing?
No, such actions are done to threaten.
Wait a minute. then teachers at one point, when they announced a strike, they called up RDCs to come and teach our kids. And I wonder at this time if
but RDC, how many schools can he teach?
No.
Some of them have an equivalent of A level.
I wonder if RDCs can teach science.
Others even did the A level and they got one principal pass. Others went to NASA and they got A level from NASA Road. They can't teach.
That is how we handle our
of course, they are hired as a coercive force of the state. The RDCs, a coercive force of the state. That's why they have to go on the ground, threaten the teachers who are on industrial action. The industrial action is well within the laws of the Uganda and even the supreme law of the land. The Constitution of the Republic of Uganda allows them to go on industrial action, to belong to a labor union of their choice, and to go on industrial action if they are dissatisfied.
Okay, Aaron, one message. I mean, a message to your membership.
I wanted to add.
Okay, add, and we conclude.
Something Aaron and your team should add. You should not just get a communication from the minister or from the president. As a union, you need a memorandum of understanding signed between you and the government, because you are a bargaining force. That effective July, they are going to give you your money. When they abandon it, you take them to court. Don't just accept these such other things. No, make sure that they reduce that communication into a memorandum of understanding and enforceable by law. Because you are a union.
Okay.
You are a union.
That's a good piece of advice.
Yes.
Aaron.
Take them on.
And Aaron, package and put out your message to the membership.
Me, I'm not a member. I'm not a member, but I am giving free legal advice to our guardian teachers.
Yeah.
I get very excited. I'm very, very excited that they taught my daughter and my son who are doing medicine and surgery. I feel very good.
Wow.
Yes.
You must be you must feel indebted to them.
Yes, I do. Actually, the paying was delayed a long time ago. It should have started a long time ago.
Okay, Aaron, 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much. Our dear members, the science teachers across the country, first of all, we want to thank you for the solidarity you have shown. It is good that when the National Executive Council actually passed this, you all took it up because that's what you wanted. And we want to save the country, to save the future generations, to make sure that if a science teacher goes back to school, teaches well with their heart at school and the content they are delivering. We don't want what Honorable called some kind of ping pong also somewhere where science teachers, it is like a running battle now between head teachers and the science teachers if this is not resolved. And we want to inform, because I've got cases in some districts where RDCs and the DSOs have started threatening our members, running around. Yes. And we have some members who were summoned at the districts yesterday. We got those reports. But we want to inform RDCs and DSOs that a matter of teaching is a unique matter. It's not a matter of force. It's not a gun issue. It's more of a psychological issue. We are already handling this matter with government at a top level. Now, you, a head teacher at school, you are conniving with the cow and the RDC to cause confusion and threaten our members. Would you expect them to come and teach well with you? So we are asking RDCs, with due respect, we are asking DSOs to back off from this matter. And I want also to mention this. The spokesperson of Ministry of Education, we had him speak, and I do not want to repeat what he spoke, but wherever you are, you must know that you angered science teachers, and you must check the language you use. You cannot come and start saying, for you don't know science teachers. Then which ministry are you speaking for?
Okay.
So that is very bad, and in fact, when we get out of this industrial action, we want to engage the Ministry of Education, because it's not only about the money. We want the salary enhanced, our money reverted back, and the presidential directive respected. Marginalization and discrimination must stop. We are all scientists. A minute as I conclude. We also want supplies, lab supplies.
Okay.
We have a new curriculum that has been put. This curriculum is more practical. It needs more time. Presence of teachers at school.
Do you hear that, Honorable?
The funding of this curriculum is limited. Schools don't have the resources to implement it.
Really?
They do not have the surprise. Yes, I am the one telling you. I'm a teacher myself. And science teachers are teaching across the country. We get these reports. Even schools,
that's almost the same case.
Yes.
The doctors and health workers were putting across.
Yes.
That they would really want to go back to work. Yes. But even the supplies, the equipment, I am the one telling you lacking.
Now that
they feel bad looking at patients die when actually they know what to do, but they lack the facilities, the equipments to use and save lives.
A new curriculum,
it's almost the same thing.
A new curriculum was actually adopted, and this curriculum is very good. When you look at the content and how it is supposed to be handled and implemented, I think we are going to see the current Japan and Singapore. If this curriculum is implemented within the first 10 years, 10 to 20, we may see the level of Japan and Singapore here in Uganda.
Wow.
But the issue is on implementation. This is a practical thing. It is aimed at developing skills in the learners so that there is improvement in productivity and those skills we are looking at required for development. Because the society, the nations are being driven by science and technology.
Yeah.
And that is what this curriculum is about. But when you look at the schools in the country right now, many schools, the funding is limited. Some are implementing it theoretically. Teachers have not changed even the methods. Why? They don't have the resources. So we have put it clear in our document to government. And the Minister of Public Service asked us that for them they are going to sort the issue of the salary enhancement. But these other issues, we should go and discuss with Minister of Education. And we are telling Minister of Education, Mr. Mujimba, that we are coming. You said you do not know us, but we are coming to tell you that there cannot be practical science taught if the resources and the supplies in the laboratories required to implement the new curriculum are not there.
Thank you so much.
We need to be sincere to the country.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Did you take the advice from Honorable? Because if they agree and there is a memorandum of understanding that come July 1st, you are request and the pledge will
I
be
think
honored.
this is a very good advice, and we are going to pursue it. We are going to put it before so that we prepare ourselves. And though we had Dr. Chris Wadiomuns, he was saying that you see this money for science teachers is not a negotiation that we have negotiated with the union. This is a government policy and we are committed to implement it. You see? That's why actually he had talked of that we shall not write any commitment. But we told them, you don't want to write to us. What do you want us to use
but
to tell our members?
union.
Do we go back and tell the people that you see, they said? Until recently, I think towards the end of the week, they understood our issue because the strike was still on. And up to now, it is still on. And we had agreed with some of them that this should not go beyond this week.
Okay.
But now it is pain-free going to go into another week if this is not handled.
Thank you.
But this is very good. We are going to pursue it.
Thank you.
Yes.
And good luck, Aaron.
All right.
We wish for the best, Honorable. In these few minutes, can we switch to another topic? Viewers, I said the political heat is on and the election favor is back. In Omoro County, the by-election is now on. It has been set roaring. Come Monday, next week, the campaigns will be flagged off. And we talk about politics. As we were starting the program, Honorable, you talked about Kizza Besigye, Dr. Kizza Besigye being, arrested and all that. I gather that heavy deployment is still around his home. I think, like I said, the political heat is on.
Of course, the political heat in the country is skewed that some people are allowed to organize, others are not allowed to organize. Those work are best for dictators, but at the end of the day, they are consumed by the power of the people. In Omoro, NRM has a candidate who is
Andrew Jok
Olanya, the son to the late, and I think we expect him to win, although he has other 5 competitors. And we only think we are going to organize a civil campaign. I intend to go there myself because I know that young man, save for the fact that the father died and he created a vacuum, an opportunity for him to stand. He's actually qualified.
You know him at personal level?
Yes, he works. He was working. He's been working in NITAU, a department that belongs to the committee where I belong, ICT. So I have interacted with him for long. I believe in people who join politics when they have tested the world of work.
Okay.
I don't believe in these young people who just from university wants to join politics. You have no capacity to even conduct your own campaign, to even pay your polling agents. You want to join politics. So for me, the decision of Ojok after 7 years working is a good decision. Because for me, I joined the politics after 10 years of work.
Wow.
I had the capacity to fund my own campaign and to also sustain it. Sustain it. Not these things, you are looking for votes from people and you also want money from them. You want money from them. Yeah, that would not be a problem, but our people are very poor. Like in the current economic circumstances, you will go to who to ask for money. They are broke. They are also looking for money from you. For money from you. The general thing, I think what we expect the government to do, and those players in Omoro, let's conduct a civil campaign. Let's not panic. Because I have seen in the by-elections where the military is brought in, the police are brought in, and they make the whole exercise very brutal and unacceptable to a person who thinks about contests in political terms.
That is the biggest fear, that by-elections all across have been bloody. We cannot forget what happened in Arua. We cannot forget what happened in Hoima, Asinansi, Nyakata, and Businje. We cannot forget what recently happened in Kayunga.
Yeah, of course, that's why we are saying we have had enough torture of Ugandans. We would not, we want to open a new page. After all, in Omoro, we are sure that the NNM candidate is going to win.
How sure are you?
No, he's he's going to ride on the popularity of his father. 2, the sympathy vote. 3, he's qualified.
Really?
To me, a person, not only in terms of academics, he's a graduate of ICT, even financially working for 7 years, well paid, and NITU, he's married, you know, he's married, he's really too prepared for the position.
Some analysts say that even his father, the late Jacob Olanya, had to struggle to win that constituency. You remember how he actually lost a whole term when I think it is between 2001 and when he did not make it through.
But I think qualitatively, we particularly on not at a national level, at constituency level, the son may have an edge.
Okay.
He's a young man. The biggest number of voters are young people.
Okay.
The younger people. He's postured as a person who is facing the same problems the ordinary people are facing. And I have told you a number of things that will make him maybe have an edge. All said and done, the mourning of the father that took almost a whole month psychologically affected the people down there. They are like, what can we do for this family? The only thing that they can do for this family, for Olanya, is just to vote his son.
Okay.
Vote his son. And for me, given the fact that I have interacted with him, he will be equal to the billing of the voters when he comes to the house.
Okay. What about the opportunity the national platform may look to exploit at this particular moment? You remember, actually, you know, that
of course,
even the candidate they now have in that election, from what we hear, may be stronger on the ground. He has competed before in that particular election against his father and against Joke's father.
Torit is a seasoned politician. He's very, very qualified, very educated. He's known. Of course, we have had these situations of where it is not even the party that wins.
An individual
wins. Like when you look at a number of our constituencies, they actually come to vote an individual, not the party.
Individual merit.
Yes, not the party. Because you will find where they have put a machinery, in like in my constituency, they put a machinery to blackmail Tika Simire as a rebel, NRM. But the people still come on the ballot paper and take Tika Simire.
Won't that play out and work for Tolit?
That's why I'm saying some people win an election on individual merit, not that they are voting a party. And if we see Tolit winning, we'll be winning as an individual, not that they are voting NUP. No.
Okay.
Because that particular district, the majority are NRM.
Okay.
Yes. The NRM.
Okay, you pray for a fair election.
A fair election,
but do you think,
I believe our candidate for NRM will go through.
Do you believe that can happen? And we see a fairly good election campaign?
Oh, no, of course, the issue is if we do not run a formidable campaign that is sticks to the rules of going to the local masses, and we run a campaign that is based in Kampala, where people come from Kampala, pick money, go to enjoy themselves in a guru, report to Omoro and return. And then on polling day, we are panicking to do ballot stuffing.
It happens.
To rig. To rig. Because the reason why people rig is because they are not sure of what is going to come out of the box.
Yeah.
But if you mobilize it, you use a well-structured approach of grassroots campaign. First of all, by the time even people vote, each village you have known how many people are supporting you. How many people are supporting you. And the other side, they do not have very many sub-counties like in my constituency. In my constituency, I have 19 sub-counties. In their constituency, in his constituency, they are around 4. So it is even easy to know, to structure out and know, so and so is not going to vote for us. So and so. And even get to know the outcome before the polling day.
It is a quick comment. I'll ask from Aaron, because he's not a politician, and I don't want to put him on a collision course with politicians. But if you can make a comment, you can do, because this is...
Man by nature is a political animal. Aristotle said.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you expect from Omoro?
This by-election. I will not reason, because I may not have much depth of the politics Honorable Tinka Simire has, but I think I want to agree with him on the issue of the son of the former speaker, especially on the line of sympathy vote.
Yeah.
And two, in addition to that, the legacy left by the former Right Honorable Speaker, I think is something majority may not want to, because you know, for us we believe in our culture that when a father has some good traits, they pass them to the children, to their children. So if Honorable, the Right Honorable Speaker, the former, he did great works actually for this country. So we feel personally, not now in the line of the depths of politics, I feel this young man can take on the father's legacy. Another issue is that we also want to be sincere here. This young man is not just that they are going to give him sympathy vote and he wins when he's not qualified. According to what I have, the little I've known about him when he came up, especially during the mourning period of his father, I have got to realize that the young man is actually qualified for the job.
Wow.
Because first of all, as Honorable put it, he has served already the country for 7 years and more. So if he can be transferred to serve the country in this other capacity, I think is good. So I see him having really a cutting edge over the other
others. What about the fears that by-elections have all been, all along been violent? Would you think that sympathy would play out to sanitize the campaigns and the election period?
When you look at the precedents, look at children who have contested, having lost their parents, who have been maybe members of parliament. You realize, for example, the time when we lost in Nevada, when you look at how the election played out, it went to the family.
The sister,
then when you look at a number of others, you will notice that even now, I do not expect actually much violence in this by-election, because the majority of the people in that constituency are still mourning actually the former Right Honorable Speaker. So I don't see them trying to have a lot and fighting. But of course we know politics events may change none overnight, but I don't think it will be violent. Even I don't see the other by-elections we have seen which have been a little bit more violent. There were many other factors that resulted into that. But this particular one, I see this young man
violence
going through.
Honorable, now this opens another debate, because you both and even others now support and agree that it is now into our practice, into our norms, to get children succeed their parents, especially in position of leadership. Now it opens a debate on why we are actually castigating General Muhoozi Kainerugaba to take over from President Museveni.
I hold the view and maintain it that it is practically immoral one family to lead a country for a century.
What about a constituency, leading a constituency for a century?
At a presidential level, you are talking about a job of a chief executive. MP can go to the House Speaker and he'll be ignored. But the chief executive can even order for your arrest, can even order for your death.
He has absolute powers.
Yes. The other
executive powers.
Yes, yes. He can order that scientists be paid from 4 million to 10 million. He can order that. You get me? Is the chief executive of a country. One family holding that power of controlling the budget of a country. The budget of a country. Because you like it or not, President Museveni, after this term, he will have ruled us for 40 years.
Yeah, true.
In my estimation, because I have a person who is who studied with the president and is my uncle. He's since retired from teaching. He's a vet doctor. Given the age that we know, I am not seeing President Museveni die very soon. With his age, he may add there another extra 10 years. And with the appetite that he expresses for power, I'm not seeing him leave this, stay in this earth when he's not the head of state. So that means he may rule us up to 50 years.
Really?
Even if his son is bringing, I will call it Rugezi. Because you are a serving army officer, you know the rules of engagement. 2, even when you want to succeed your father, you are not going to succeed your father when he's alive. The way he wants it. We who support him, who support the father, not the son, we will maintain that President Museveni, in these years that you are remaining with, instead of continuing to push for the success, the succession of your son, look at the entire country, look at the NRM party, and get there able people.
Okay.
For a long period of time, he worked with Honorable Amama Mbabazi. Why doesn't he bring him back?
Okay.
He has worked with Lumumba as a Secretary General. She's exceptional. He is working with Tadwong. Some of these guys are uncomparable with this general. With this general. Even us who are members of the NRM party. We believe we can steer this country into a better place than these people who just get excited and go to Twitter and declare how they are too powerful. No.
All right.
What reason will you give to Uganda and you, President Museveni, that after you have ruled us for 50 years, you want your son to succeed you immediately? Yes, we want his son can express himself, but let him allow some other person to come after him, as he is linking maybe the notes in this other regime of a person, that please, when you finish, please maybe the baton give it to my son. If we will not prefer also to give it to his...
Like it was done in Kenya. Moi comes in after Kenyatta and then...
Perfect. Other people talk about Bush.
Then Chibachi and then
Bush
Uhuru
Senior
Kenyatta comes in.
When Bush Senior finished, we saw another head of state coming in. We would want to have...
It was Clinton.
Yes,
Clinton.
we want to have some space. Some space of some other person thinking. Because even these people who study biology, when you have a bull, a constant bull in a corral, you must think about removing that bull. Otherwise, you will have any bleeding. We do not want to have any bleeding in the politics of this country.
Okay.
It is a disaster. We are thinking about joining the Industrial Revolution, where we have not. Going into a middle-income country. Promised to Ugandans to Gagawara for the last 36 years. It has not happened. Do we want to continue with the same?
Okay, we only have at least 4 minutes, Honorable. And from where we started, the political heat is on. We talked about Dr. Kizza Besigye now reviving another campaign.
Why Dr. Kizza Besigye is coming up at this particular time?
Is it true the politics?
Why he is coming at this particular time? He is protesting that we are seeing a political succession instead of a political transition. Because the president is there carrying on his shoulders his son. That carry on. He
has not publicly supported.
Look, I want to bring out the actions that indicate that he has supported him. When this man joined the army, he said he's an LDU. That was in 98. Today he's a general. I have a colleague who joined together with him, my classmate, a graduate of economics from Makerere University. He is actually, because he's very, very intelligent, I think they even made him grow faster. He's a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, that's closer, I think.
He's a lieutenant colonel. But we have had people who have served in this country.
But promotions in the army take, I mean...
the issue that you would ask, why this boy? Why this boy?
Okay, but Dr. Besigye doesn't talk about
the other thing. Let's not look at the promotion. He's celebrating his birthday. He invites a head of state from Rwanda. You, Apollo, can you have a head of state attending your birthday without the consent of a hosting head of state?
No, not possible.
So you can see that he's carrying his son here on the head. Carry on. To a level of allowing even another head of state come and give prominence to my son. Because Kagame, by the way, we love him. People say he's a dictator, but he loves the Rwandese. We are talking about the science transformation in his country. Each primary school child has a laptop.
Wow.
A laptop. Cut us about by him to say, no, we must revolutionize teaching of science in schools. He did not stop, he did not just stop at words. He went into action. So even when we go to Rwanda, you move from Katuna to Nyanza, on the border with the Burundi, with the Burundi. It is tarmac, security rights. Even when a soft pin drops on the road, you will see it. You will see it. You will say now.
Which may not be the case here.
It is not the case here.
Well, I was saying.
So, somehow, people have a positive mind about.
I was saying, Chizabeste is talking about high commodity prices, more like the walk to work campaigns of 20.
And that was another item he talked about.
Okay.
He said the government is not providing a solution, and I agree with him, because the solution they are telling us that in Tanzania, in Kenya, the prices, the commodity prices have also gone up because of Russian war. Why should sugar, a product of sugar cane, is grown by the Basoga, by the Banyoro in Kinyara, in Hoima, in Hoima, Masindi? Why should it go up?
Yeah.
The sugar canes are grown here. The water which is added to process the sugar is from here. The power is from Ichira. Chira. Tell us why these commodity prices have gone up for sugar. Two, why do we have soap of a Kenyan from Kenya selling here at 5,600? Then our own here, which is manufactured by Bidiko Mokwano, is selling at 10K. You explain it to us.
Well, that
is the cause why he's saying, I provide for us a solution. And we are also demanding that the government should come up with a Ugandan solution. The way in Kenya, the president made an increment of salarized people like him to absorb the shock of increment in prices across the board, 12%. Yeah. That should be done here. There should be taxes reduced on these commodity prices for this period, and also those involved in agricultural processing, such that they produce more and be able to at least get out of this shock.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Our time is fast spent. And one word, we close, Aaron.
Yeah, dear science teachers, you have to wait for communication from the National Head Office when the National Executive Council sits, and it will sit as soon as a written formal communication is got from government. But before that, the status quo remains as it was this week.
Thank you so much, our viewers. Our time is up. My name is Sima Parliament. Thank you so much. We did get time to look at the feedback on our social media pages, but we are really thankful and grateful for your comments, and you must keep those comments coming in. Thank you so much, Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire. It's always a pleasure having you on this show.
Thank you, Apollo, for the good time you have given to us.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and it's also a privilege to have you on this show today.
Oh, thank you.
Well, viewers, we'll be right back next weekend. The dialogue is out now. Let's hope for the best. Good afternoon and a splendid weekend.
All views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect or state